Hello, it's Graham Cofer with another My Music. Now, I've just got to check my breath. Yeah, minty fresh. And I'll be speaking to Minty in a minute after this.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Minty, thanks for joining me. Where are you coming from?
I come from Poland, but I don't live there for like 8 years now. So I moved moved out of Poland when I was 20, 21. Went to Berlin, stayed there for 7 years, and now I'm based in Valencia because I just graduated from Berklee College of Music. So I just graduated 1 week ago, so it's fresh.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, you're an incredibly talented young woman musically. Was Berkeley difficult?
Well, it was, yes. Yeah, it wasn't the easiest. They pushed us quite strong and very hard. And I learned a lot because of that. So now I just want to enjoy life a little because just see Valencia and get to know Spain a little bit more because we didn't have time for nothing, literally.
No, absolutely. I mean, what a wonderful part of the world to now go and live. I mean, quite inspiring, I expect, as well for you in terms of music. I mean, Berkeley's one of those places which, hands out honorary degrees to only the best musically. People like Todd Rundgren have got honorary degrees there over the years. But what's the biggest thing that you've learned while you were there?
It's hard to say, but for me it was the technical side of the music production, so engineering, sound design, and going deep into very nerdy stuff. It really helped me to be a better producer and engineer.
Yeah. Were you always more of a hands-on sort of play it type person rather than it, really that involved in the sort of engineering type side of things? But it's helpful to have learned that, obviously.
At the beginning, before I came to Berkeley, I had experience with producing, but mostly in a box, as I can say. And here I could just become a full producer that can, just organize the session, run the session in a professional studio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's a big achievement for me. Yeah.
Well, what I love about what you do online is that you're inspiring other people to get involved in music as well. Right? You do all of these little videos where it's like, let's write a song.
Yes. Yeah, that's a new format for me. Yeah. For now, I'm trying, and I'm actually glad that people notice that and that they like it. I also did it to show people my process, of my new single, Kaleidoscope. And that was actually my first song that I wrote while I was in Berkeley. And I wrote it with the skills that I learned in Berkeley as well. And it's great to share it because there's big story behind it.
Oh, right. Go on. Tell us the story.
So the song tells about, it's inspired by the light in Valencia. Because here there's sun all the time, and at every hour of the day, the city changes. But now maybe it's less because the sun is just hitting like very strong all the time. But like in winter and spring, yeah, it's very inspiring how the city changes, how it's different from Berlin, and how the buildings like shimmer and the windows shimmer and the sea and everything. It's just very inspiring. So after living in with dark Berlin, I just decided to this light inspired me. So yeah, and gave me hope. So I wrote this song about it with my sister. And when it comes to music production, I want my culminative experience project was about experimental vocal production in alternative pop music. So what I was doing, I tried to experiment with my vocals as much as possible. So I used my vocal as a body for like experimental sound design, to make my own instruments out of it, to make synths, pads, also experiment with like weird classical vocal choirs and just process it in a different ways. So yeah, I did.
I love your experimentation with sound and in particular vocals. I think it's brilliant. I've had on here before, probably one of my favorite artists who actually does experiment with her voice all of the time, and she actually gets her voice to go and sound like a man's sometimes, and so she sings the kind of the two different parts. Have you played like that with your voice?
Yeah, like you can go all the way, I would say, but for me it was important to like balance this like pop sounding vocals with some experimentation. So the main vocals still sound shiny and nice and clean, but in the background you have lots of weird things happening.
Lots of weird sounds. Have you always, in terms of sounds in music, have you always been fascinated by sound and like trying to capture different sounds?
Yeah, I think so. Like I just have some ideas that come to my head, and I'm trying to recreate them. And the only like fastest thing for me, like the instrument, is my voice. So I use my voice the most, but I also try to sample lots of different things. Like I also love this glass sounds, the breaking glass sound. So at the beginning, that was also my initial idea to make an album based on glass breaking glass sounds. But yeah, it was vocals at the end.
I mean, at the moment, there's a lot of good electronic music out there at the moment, especially with females fronting it. Is there anyone in particular that's kind of, tweaking the right knobs from your point of view as a listener? Is there anyone that's really kind of pushing the boundaries of?
Like Caroline Polachek, she's pushing boundaries of pop for me, like completely, and the productions and how she looks like. She's just my hero for now. yeah. But from
very edgy,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, that's what I love. Also in my music, I'm trying to combine like pop sounds with like experiment. So yeah, she's my role model.
I can completely understand it. What about the look? Because when you play and you've got this really strong look as well, where does that come from?
I guess it comes from from, like,
I just threw it on one morning.
Like, do you mean the clothing
The
and the image?
clothing and the imagery, yeah.
Yeah, like I always try to maybe not to be too girly, how I look on stage, and yeah, to yeah.
It's quite futuristic, isn't it? The whole
Yes,
look.
yes, 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 yes. That's also the point. So like I don't wear dresses on stage. I want to like be big also. Like I want to be big with sound, but also like looking like yeah, like I'm taller and I just have power. And yeah, the guitar also brings the futuristic style to everything. And I just guess that my style evolved from yeah. I started a few years ago, and I didn't have much style yet, but with like the inspirations and people I was listening to, people like looking at other artists, I think I narrowed my preferences. Yes, how I should
Yeah.
look like. Yeah.
The guitar is a really interesting instrument in terms of its kind of history, because it kind of came out when I was a young man.
Yeah.
And it was like so big for a while in the 80s. Like everybody was using one, but they were, to be frank, a lot of them were quite naff for a
Mhm.
long while. But it kind of it seems to be making a bit of a resurgence again. Why do you think that is? That it's kind of coming
No,
back with popularity. I mean, it means you can move on stage, right?
yeah, that's perfect. So because I really don't like to be like bonded to one place on stage, so it's perfect. But why I started to play guitar, because I was listening to Robert Glasper Experiment,
Mm,
Black Radio album, and he had a Casey Benjamin on guitar and saxophone, and yeah, and I just loved how this guy sounded and looked on stage. So I was just like, oh my god, I have to buy it. And that was a long time ago. So actually, guitar is my first instrument, and is also like my baby,
yeah.
first instrument, and I just don't wanna leave it anymore. I just wanna continue playing on it. Yeah, it's sadly going with. Yeah, I think it's breaking a little, but I have to heal it. Yeah.
Would you swap to a guitar one of these
No,
days? No.
no, like I'm a synth player. I'm a like
Yeah.
key players. So guitar is perfect for me.
Yeah. I
Maybe
didn't
a
know whether
newer version.
I didn't know whether you'd ever dabbled with like a guitar, but that's like a MIDI guitar, and like played
Yeah.
keyboard lines. I don't know whether you'd ever.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. What's the next ambition for you? What are you working towards at the moment?
So for now, I want to release my EP, and the last, yeah, the tracks that I was working on in Berkeley, and yeah, of course, promotion, push it as much as I can, play some gigs in Spain. That would be perfect, because I played a few gigs in Valencia now, but I would love to play in Barcelona, Madrid, and other cities. Yeah, become a producer for other artists as well. That's my goal. Um, and yeah, for now, baby
Is
steps.
it to stay away from anything that isn't music per se, as
Yeah,
it were?
well, yeah, it would be nice to, because I just freshly graduated, so finding a job for now. But of course, it will be perfect if it could be in music.
Yeah.
But if not, I will manage. I'm a very good cook also, so I can always do this. Um,
It's
yeah,
hard though, isn't it? It's hard when you've been at something like Berkeley. You've been immersed in music for
yeah,
so long. This period now where you've got to make ends meet,
yeah,
and you
It's
know,
terrifying. It's
yeah,
very
yeah,
terrifying.
absolutely. I mean, is that period, you know, because it must be playing on your mind, and you must be thinking about it all of the time. What's the next step? Where do I go? How do I keep this on? Is that coming into your music at the moment? Do you find that, you know, that whole thoughts about how I keep this going, is that actually coming into your music?
For now, not because it's a fresh
It's
feeling.
fresh.
It's a fresh feeling. It's like since 1 week, I made a break, and I'm not making music for 1 week. For now, I played a concert on Friday, so still, but yeah, I think I will sit down to finish my project like next week maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
slowly. Like I'm focusing to do baby steps for now. I think that's what helps me to go through this madness. I would say, just I have to find a new flat here, and I would like to stay a little bit longer in Valencia. Search for like maybe basic job, then search for some concerts and focus on releasing my music, and then take bigger steps and decide maybe if I want to like really stay in Valencia or maybe go somewhere else or start more serious job and stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think could help you the most at this moment in time in terms of the music, or keeping the music going? What would be the ideal situation if it turned up?
The ideal situation would be if I could have few artists that I could produce, and I could have maybe some agency for which I can make some music for advertisements and like commercial stuff. I think that would be ideal for now, and then I could also focus on my music and be stable.
If you could produce music for other people, who would be kind of an ideal artist for you in terms of, you know, I mean, obviously we know what kind of, or people perhaps don't, but they can go and investigate it afterwards and find out what sort of music you do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean to say you'd necessarily want to produce the same kind of music.
Yeah, of course.
If someone came to you, what would you be looking for as an artist that you feel that you could really give something extra back to?
I guess some singers, songwriters that are more or less oriented in R&B, pop, maybe a bit more like electronic, edgy stuff. But I'm not afraid to like try also but more commercial stuff, because I also enjoy to do it, and I think I know how to do it. But young people who are searching for producers, and maybe they cannot get somebody, like David Guetta or something. But just to collaborate with young, not only, but mostly probably it will be young, starting talented people.
Yeah. I wish you all the best with that as well, because I think, you know, if you can get into that field, it's fantastic. I mean, you know, an old friend of mine who we started off together in a band when I was 14 and he was 10. He's now one of the world's best producers, and he's producing music day in, day out for people. I mean, it must be one of the best jobs in the world. So, you know,
it's nice.
I hope something comes to your door. If you're out there, folks, and you'd like to get in touch with Minty and you know, give her a chance to produce some of your music, that would be fantastic. You know, everybody starts somewhere. Do you come from a musical background?
No, like my parents, they're not playing on anything. My uncle was a bit more musical, and he noticed the talent in me. So
it's your uncle's fault.
Yeah.
How did he get you into music? How did he encourage you?
I guess he had a piano.
Yeah.
And I just one day started to like try, like I was little, just to try out, play something on it. And he said, she has a talent. And I'm like, and my parents like, okay, so maybe we can take her to some music class.
Did you pick up by ear very quickly?
Yeah, I was doing it by ear, and for like I started to play like half a year, like when I was 6, 7, and yeah, I could like spend hours in front of piano and just like figuring out like how to play some melodies and harmonies. And then my parents sent me to classical music school, and then my creativity like a bit got cut because yeah, in Poland it was quite conservative classical music school, so I couldn't pick up anything from my ear, but just had to read and learn theory and stuff like that. So it was very stressful, I remember. And after a few years,
what do the people that knew you then, or your parents, what do they think of what you're doing now? Are they pleased?
Yes, my parents are quite supportive, although they
get a real job.
It's some like they were very supportive up to some time, and like while I'm getting older, they're a bit like, oh, it's taking a bit time for your career to really rise. So they are like slowly find a real job. Maybe you should have some comfort finally in your life. So but well, I haven't finished Berkeley just to find a normal job now. Like that would be ridiculous.
You don't go through Berkeley to go and work in a factory, do you? I mean,
yeah, exactly. So I will still try my luck, and then let's see where the life goes.
I honestly wish you all the best with all of it, because I think you've got an immense talent,
Thank you.
It deserves to be put out into the world. I look forward to hearing the rest of this EP. What's the EP going to be called? Is it going to be called Kaleidoscope? Is it going to be? Do we have a name for the whole EP?
I still don't have a name for the whole EP, but the whole EP is inspired by light. And so I'll think about something maybe less cliche than light. But few songs are already ready, and I also have material for the next EP. But baby steps for now. I have to next week I will release a music video to Kaleidoscope, which I also produced by myself, and later on I will release a live session also of Kaleidoscope, but with string quartet and recorded at Berkeley, with drummer, and so a very nice live session. And then next song will be out, called Creation.
You say that the classical bit was difficult, and I think it is for a lot of musicians that have come through here. But having said that, elements of your music are quite classical, Has it had, in a way, now that you've got past the pain of it all, looking back, was it helpful?
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm proud that I finished it, because after a few years I changed my piano teacher, and she was like my first music grandma. She showed me a lot, and she taught me how to love music. I started to love music because of her, and she was developing my sensitivity. So I'm very grateful that I could finish it, and it was stressful, but she made it possible. My teacher. So and for me, most of the times when I'm bored with pop music or electronic music, I just go to classical and take inspirations from there.
And that's so important. I think it's great to have that extra depth sometimes in what you're doing, because that's what pushes boundaries and that's what makes music
exactly
really interesting. Again, listen, you make great, interesting music. I wish you, as I say, I wish you all the best. Would look forward to hearing more of your music in the future. Folks out there, if you haven't listened to Minty's music, if you haven't checked it out yet, please do and go and check it out, because it really is quite fantastic. Do leave her, if nothing else, leave her a comment on her Instagram, etc. If you like it, say that you like it. Don't just listen to it and move on by, because that's people need that kind of support when it's this point in your life as well, where you're trying to get the next thing going. Every comment helps, doesn't it?
Yes, of course. Yeah, please. It doesn't cost anything, but makes the artist feel good a little, or maybe just helps to grow.
I look forward to you coming back in a year or so's time, when you've released some more material. You've actually got yourself a gig or two supporting someone famous, and maybe you've got yourself some amazing production work as well. And then you can tell me the next phase of the ladder, which might be up there, I don't know, supporting Lady Gaga or whatever. Whatever the next phase of the ladder is. But I wish you all the best, and I hope you're going to get there, because talent like yours deserves it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Graham Cofe with My Music and Minty. We will put the links in the posts over the next day or so that you can actually go and find the music itself. If you've enjoyed this, please do share it with your friends, so that all of the artists that come onto the show get the support that they really do deserve. Until next time, which will be later this afternoon at 4:00, when I'll be speaking to Georgina Milne, I will be saying goodbye. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.